In this video, I'm going to teach you how I made this song.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't wanna give up, but I'm so close, 'cause they won't miss me when they see me as a ghost.
So the first thing I did on this beat was I made this intro synth in Serum. It's just like a rounded square wave with a saw wave with unison, MG low filter with all these settings, a little bit of sub with some distortion, and a little bit of reverb. I don't even think this compressor's on. And the next thing I did in this intro was I made these saw chords in Serum. It's just like a square wave, saw wave with some unison, a little bit of filter, some white noise, a little bit of hyper dimension, some distortion, and then boost a little bit of high end too. And then later, I wanted to add some bass into that stack, so I added this bass right here. It's also just some saw waves with unison and some effects on them. And then when you play the bass with the saw chords, it sounds like this. You can see it like really fills out the frequency spectrum. And then the drums on this part of the chorus are super simple. Also threw this on the build up. If you know, you know. Yeah, and then all that together sounds like this. And then in the second half of the chorus, I also added in this ARP that I made in Serum. It's really basic. It's just like a sine wave and a saw wave with a little bit of high frequencies cut out, some white noise, just like a pluck envelope, just some like distortion, a little bit of EQ, and some delay. So yeah, all that together in the chorus sounds like this. And also the most important part too, is I have all of my instruments going through a side chain, which means that every single time that the kick hits, the volume of the rest of the instruments ducks down. I'll show you what it sounds like with and without the side chain. So here's with the side chain. And this is without the side chain. So it just adds like a lot more bounce to all the instruments. So yeah, then next in the verse, I just changed up the pattern of like the saw chord, and I used like the intro synth, but I have it all like filtering in so that it kind of like builds up. That right there is like a really good trick if you want to make like a build up or like have a sound really like come in from nowhere, is you just here, I'll show you. You just load up an EQ, and then you go to this 18 kilohertz cut preset, you turn this down, and then if you right click it and click on create automation clip, and you just have it go up over time, it'll like open the filter. See how it's opening and allowing more of the high frequencies in? That's what creates that build-up effect. And you can see the high frequencies being let in as the filter opens up. Yeah, super useful for like build-ups or if you want to have like an instrument come in out of nowhere. And for the rest of the verse, I just have the normal saw chords from like the chorus, the ARP, the bass, and then basic drums again. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as the chorus. And then to like build up back into the chorus, I just did the same thing with the filter, except with the saw chords, and it comes in like this. So yeah, then I wanted to like add another chorus at the end, but I wanted to have like a build up and add something new into it. So I added in this slap bass that I made in Serum. There's a lot going on there, so I'm not even going to begin to explain, but you can copy the settings if you like how it sounds. Here's what it sounds like too without the filter, so you can just hear it. Yeah, it's like a super fat bass. And I just put some Camel Crusher on there so it could add some like distortion. So yeah, and then in this buildup, I have like the bass filtering in, and then I have the ARP. And then I also just have some drums coming in. So yeah, then for this next part too on the drop, I wanted to make the drums more complex, more full. So I made the patterns a little more complex. All the drums together for the drop sounds like this. And then yeah, besides the drums for this drop, all I have is the slap bass and the ARP that I made from earlier. Also for this drop part, I wanted it to like sound more like distorted and crunchy. So I also have a sausage fattener and a wave shaper for distortion that come in at the end of the drop. So here's the sausage fattener and the wave shaper. So yeah, that's all for the beat. Let me go to the other project that I have where I recorded my vocals on. So the vocals that I added for this beginning saw chord part were basically just the chorus, but just one voice in the middle. And then later I added some more panned left and right.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't wanna give up, but I'm so close, 'cause they won't miss me when they see me as a ghost.
I'll go ahead and show you my vocal chain too. So first I have auto tune, set pretty high, retune speed on 5. And then it goes into my main vocal bus, which has a low cut out some low mids and some high mids, and then an 1176 compressor to catch like all the high peaks, and then an LA2A compressor just to level everything out. And then I have this FabFilter Pro de-esser. This is by far the best de-esser I've found. Besides that, I also use this one, which is the Waves de-esser. I kind of like to use both of them just to really get the S's out. And then I put an OTT on there too, and I just messed with like these thresholds so that more high frequencies and mid frequencies would come out from it. And then I use this Pultec EQ to raise some of the lows and also cut some of the lows. And then I also boosted and attenuated some of the high frequencies at 8 kilohertz. And then I also use Fresh Air just to boost some of the high mids and the high frequencies. And then I finally use Camel Crusher just for some distortion. So without my vocal chain, it sounds like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all.
Yeah, and then with my vocal chain, it sounds like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all.
If you want to learn how to mix vocals in a basic sense, right? You want to start with your subtractive stuff first and your compressors first so that you can level everything out and get it sounding pretty neutral. And then after you do all that is when you want to add your additive stuff like this multiband compression, and I'm adding frequencies here, and then I'm also adding more frequencies and I'm adding distortion. So you want to subtract things, get it sounding nice and neutral, and then add whatever you want to add flavor to it. And then I also have it going to these sends. I have like a doubler to make it sound more wide, a reverb to make it more spacious, a delay to just also make it more spacious, and then parallel compression to make it cut through the mix more. So without all of these, it sounds pretty dry.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go.
And then with a doubler, it sounds like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have.
It just adds a little bit of width. And then the reverb also adds some spaciousness.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to.
And then this delay right here also adds some extra stuff in the sides.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to work.
And then this parallel compression really just helps it cut through the mix. It's just like an ultra compressed version of my main vocal, just added a little bit in there with a pretty low volume.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go.
It just makes a little difference, but it really helps your vocal cut through the mix. So with all of these on, it sounds like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't.
And without them, it sounds really dry, like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all.
Whenever you want to add a lot of flavor to a vocal, sometimes you don't just want to put it on your main bus, you want to put it on sends, just so that you can control each effect individually. Like on all of these, I like to put a de-esser before everything so that the S sounds in like the widened vocal and in the reverb aren't super loud. But yeah, on this doubler track, I just have a de-esser. I have this waves doubler. Yeah, it's just on this doubler 4 voices preset just to add some wideness. And then I also have some reverb, and then I also cut out some of the lows in it. And then on this reverb track, I just have a de-esser, a reverb, and then I cut out some of the low and high frequencies. It's really important to do this on your reverb tracks so that it doesn't take up too much space in the mix and so it doesn't sound like muddy. And you want to do the same thing with delays. At the very end, you want to put an EQ and cut out some of the lows and the highs so that it doesn't take up too much space in the mix. But yeah, on this delay track, I have a de-esser before everything, and then I have H delay, and then I have some reverb, and then I just have a little bit of a flanger. And then on this parallel compression track, I just cut out some of the lows just so that the lows aren't being added on this ultra compressed track. And then I have a de-esser, then I just have a stressor compressor, and I'm just smashing it a lot.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go.
So yeah, that's my entire vocal chain, and I do it different every single song, but in general, you really want to make sure you do all your subtractive stuff first and get it sounding right. And then after you do that is when you want to add your flavor with additive EQs, effects, or if you want to do specific effects like a reverb or a delay or a widener, you want to send it to a separate track with this little button down here. Make sure you're clicked on your main vocal track, and then you just want to left click on this little arrow down here and you'll send it to this track. And then see, like on this track, it's only going to be my reverb.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to work.
So now that my reverb's not on my main vocal and it's on a separate track, I can put effects on only the reverb track. It gives you more control, basically. So yeah, my vocal with all those effects sounds like this.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to.
And then I also just have like a vocal bus for all of my vocals to go to, and I just compress it a little bit more with an R compressor. So yeah, with the beat, this is what it all sounds like.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't.
So yeah, then for the next part of the chorus, I kind of wanted to put some glitches, so I did these glitches right here. Yeah, so all I really did was I took this word ghost right here,
Ghost.
and I just chopped it up to kind of go with the chords that I already had. Like they're in the same rhythm as these chords. Yeah, and I thought that sounded really cool. And my vocal chain for the glitches is pretty much the same. I think I just turned the auto-tune retune speed all the way up. And then I also added some sidechain onto it because I thought it sounded better with the sidechain. Without it, it sounds like this. It's like a little overwhelming and too much, but with the sidechain. Without the sidechain. With it. Sounds a lot better because all the instruments are like sidechain too, so it sounds a lot more in place in the mix. Yeah, and then for the last part of the chorus, I just repeated what I had for the first part, except I just added a couple vocal layers.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all.
And for my background vocals, I just have them all panned to the left and to the right, so it kind of fills a little bit more space in the mix. I have them turned down, and then I just like to use some different plugins on them sometimes just so that they sound a little bit different than my mains. I make sure to cut out some high frequencies and low frequencies so that they're not as like prominent. I cut out some mids too so that they don't take up too much space from the main vocal in the mids. And then I like to turn up the sides as well on my backgrounds. I feel like that really helps them like stick out in the sides a lot, but it leaves space for your main vocal in the middle. And then yeah, I just have 2 compressors, 2 de-essers again, an OTT again, fresh air, but just with a lot more mids in this one, because I like my backgrounds to sound a lot more like mid frequency heavy rather than like low or high like my mains. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the background vocal bus. It's similar to my main bus, but just a little bit different. And then I also have it going to these sends over here.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to.
So then I also did do some ad-libs, and then my ad-lib track is also pretty similar to my main vocal bus. I just end up using this radio EQ, and it helps it sound more like it's in the background. Here, I'll show you with and without it.
Wanna go, wanna go, wanna go.
It really does make it sound like it's coming out of a radio. And then I also just added some delay and reverb directly onto the track. Normally, I wouldn't recommend this for your mains because it kind of muddies up the mix, but on ad-libs or sometimes even backgrounds, I do like to do that because you want it to be in the background and kind of muddied up. So like without the delay and the reverb, it sounds like this.
Wanna go.
It sounds like it's in a radio, right? But then if I go like this, it's like a radio sound and it's kind of spacious.
Wanna go, wanna go, wanna go.
See? All of that together on the chorus sounds like this.
Oh, save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't wanna give up, but I'm so close, 'cause they won't miss me when they see me as it goes.
And then for the verse on this build-up part, I did something a little slower.
Gonna hunt all of my enemies till they all remember my name.
And then as it builds up, I kind of wanted to like rap with like a melody a little bit.
Let go of the past, strive to be better off forever last. With all the trauma I've surpassed, now not a thing will leave a scratch. So damn over it.
With the beat and everything, the verse sounds like this.
Let go of the past, strive to be better off forever last. With all the trauma I've surpassed.
I also added on like the end of these phrases, these like background vocals, and I feel like it just helps them sound a lot more full.
Let go of the past, strive to be better off forever last. With all the trauma I've surpassed.
Yeah, it makes them sound a lot more full. And then over here, I just have the chorus from earlier again.
Save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all.
And then in this build-up, since I have like it coming in more distorted and everything, I wanted to add something to my vocals to make them sound like distorted too. So on my vocal bus, I added this Saturn. It's like this guitar amp preset, the Sparkly BM. And this amp preset really makes it sound like my voice is coming through a guitar amp, which is what I was going for because I wanted this drop part to be like distorted and crunchy.
Go, save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to work.
Without the guitar amp preset, it sounds like this.
Go, save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have.
And then with the beat, it sounds like this.
Go, save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't wanna give up, but I'm so close, 'cause they won't miss me when they see me as it goes.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything for this song. If anyone has any videos they want me to make, let me know. I'd really love to hear some ideas from anyone who's interested. If there's any like tutorials you're looking for, let me know. Like if you want to learn how to mix vocals, I know I explained it a little bit in this video, but I could go more into depth and I could use like stock plugins if you want, but just let me know. This song is called Ghost by Gab6. It's on all platforms if you want to check it out. And yeah, I'll just let some of it ride. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you, and let me know if there's anything else you want to see in the future.
Go, save me from myself, I just wanna go to a place where I don't have to worry at all. I don't wanna give up, but I'm so close, 'cause they won't miss me when they see me as it goes. Goes.